Hey, this is Johnny Damon, your favorite caveman from the 2004 World Champion Boston Red Sox. You're listening to Boston's Big Three podcast presented by Ride the Wave Media.
Episode 47 of Boston's Big Three presented by Ride the Wave Media, sponsored by Eggo Waffles. That's right, you heard it. They saw Brandon's his working on the toaster a couple episodes ago, his magic around the toaster, so they decided to ship him a pallet of Eggo Waffles. Don't believe him, you should go check his garage.
So many. Check my Instagram story.
From pancakes, breakfast sandwiches, and even cereal, Eggo has a variety of products that'll make you say, Lego my Eggo. Want to stay traditional like Brandon? Grab some yourself. Eggo Waffles. Whoever wrote that ad read butchered it.
Lego my Eggo.
They are so crispy, fluffy, and delicious.
This
You won't know whether to share them or keep them for yourself. So go
This
get
is probably
your
the last time we'll ever have Eggos as a sponsorship now, because you can't even
Bottom
say it
10
right.
ad read all time.
Yeah,
dude.
That's
I
gonna be
was
dead
reading
last.
your butchered.
How is that hard to read? How is that hard to read? You know
All right.
what?
It's
If
in
you have-
English.
you read it- Listen.
Look at this one.
Let me read it for you, because it's not that hard to read. From pancakes, breakfast sandwiches, and even cereal, Eggo has a variety of products that will make you say, Lego my Eggo. Want to stay traditional like Brandon? Grab yourself some Eggo waffles. They are so crispy, fluffy, and delicious, you won't know whether to share them or keep them for yourself. How fucking hard is that to read?
You said it right. You typed it out wrong. Grab some Eggo yourself waffles. That's the sentence.
Grab some yourself. Yeah, grab yourself some. It's a little backwards. It's dyslexic.
So shout out Eggo.
I told you to read it and proofread it, and you just just go
trusted
whatever
you.
Babz says. Well, Eggos,
ha-
thank you. We gotta
Yeah,
thank Eggo so much. You got it in the
you have-
background there.
You have breakfast on a podcast 2 times, and you got breakfast for life.
yeah,
It's amazing.
It's perfect for quarantine life for you.
And now,
You go
All right.
from breakfast. You put that on your waffles there. A little ice cream on the
now
waffles.
that would be an interesting combo, because I think it might work.
You've never had a waffle sundae?
No.
Oh well, waffle cones. Yeah, that makes sense.
No,
I never
no,
had
that's
actual
waffle sundae.
waffles.
I'm talking
Never
about
had
like
a-
just pouring
I
this
never
shake.
had. Yeah, never had.
Oh,
Pour
I
the
mean,
shake
like-
onto some waffles.
Every day when I was a kid, my mom would make waffles on Sunday mornings. I take the leftovers the next night, plop it in a bowl, ice cream, hot fudge, whipped
Wow.
cream.
Yeah,
The
That's
best.
actually really
think-
good.
Your mother might love you more than mine does.
All right, well, we got Caiden on the show from Ride the Wave Media.
Oh, hey, Caiden.
What's up, dude?
Hi.
How are we?
Pretty
So,
good.
For those who don't know Caiden at home, Caiden has somehow lasted a year with us at Ride the Wave. I have no idea. I think he's must be our youngest guy here. I have to
Yeah,
be.
yeah, probably, yeah.
I'm not gonna say your age on here. That probably wouldn't be right. But for those who don't know Caiden spits probably the hottest takes that you will ever hear in your lifetime. I think he's batting 0, but I think he's like 0 for 200 right in the
Batting
last
0.
year. Babz has his hot takes, but I've at least gotten 1 or 2 right. Caiden's just coming from left field. I
Swinging
think
for
one
the
of his most
fence.
recent ones was that Kyler Murray is going to be a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. I believe that was one of your hot takes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So later on in the show, we're going to get to Caiden. We have 10 of his hottest takes for 2020. So he's been in quarantine life. He's been at home. He's been writing them down. And we're going to go from 10 to 1, and we'll get to his hottest take of 2020. And we're going to just nitpick everything that he says.
all right, before that, Babz hates Mark Wahlberg. I think they're going to fight. We need to
Yeah,
just
what's
keep
up with
doing
that?
this until Mark Wahlberg eventually sees it, because I want him to respond to this moron.
So I'll let me rant for a second. This is going to be great for Dito to do his editing powers for videos. Yesterday, which is on Sunday, they were showing Super Bowl 51 on Fox. So everybody in Pats Nation's posting their little thing about Super Bowl 51. Of course, the Spike King needs to jump in. He needs a little content to post out there to let everyone know that, oh, I'm paying attention to what's going on. So I want to post something different. So you know what I posted? I posted how Mark Wahlberg walked out, I believe at halftime, walked out on the game and didn't see the greatest comeback ever in sports history. Well, you could say Boston down 3-0 and Red Sox and Yankees, but one of the greatest comebacks ever in football history, down 28-3. Mark Wahlberg left, and people don't understand that. Yeah, he said, "Oh, my kid is sick and I had to leave, but I still love Pats Nation." No, he got ragged on for leaving, looked really bad, and then blamed his kid afterwards. If you've seen his kids walking away, the kids look fine. Babz, you're becoming a father soon. You're going to have twins. You're going to totally understand it. Fuck yourself. I wouldn't be bringing my twins, first of all, to the Super Bowl because that's going to cost me like $20,000 just to get in there. You think I have that type of money? We don't have that type of money. His kid was probably having a tantrum. Mark Wahlberg was probably having a tantrum, and he said, "Fuck this, I'm leaving." You should never leave. If you want, if you're really a Pats fan, you stay. Have your wife leave. Have your wife go with the kids and leave. You stay there and stay dedicated to that team. So the fact, and here's the funny part is, he didn't go to this last Super Bowl. He stayed away because he knows better. He knows that he's not welcome there. This guy, Mark Wahlberg, acts like he's one of Boston's biggest sports fans out there. He's not. And I just started reading the comments after I posted. It's like, who pissed in your Cheerios? Oh, Mark Wahlberg would die for our city of Boston. Mark Wahlberg's a massive sports fan. Leave him alone. He's a Boston sports fan. When I saw that and we started talking in the chat, Gene, out of all people, reached out and was like, "Have you seen him on Undisputed recently?" He went on there and said he'd rather see the Lakers win over the Celtics. So I saw the clip. Dito did his magic and put it out there. And yeah, maybe he's joking around or whatever, but the fact he's like, "Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing LeBron and Rondo get it and blah, blah, blah." Bro, the Boston Celtics have only won one title in the last 34 years, and LeBron's already won 3 of them. He's won 3 of them since the last title that the Celtics won in 2008. And you're going to root for LeBron? And all these fucking people coming out and saying, "Oh, well, he's saying it for Kobe." He did not mention Kobe once in that interview. Go back and watch the interview. He never mentioned that they wanted to do it for Kobe Bryant. I made sure of that. So Mark Wahlberg, and it was funny because now I'm sitting down with my girlfriend and we're watching this stuff, and she's like, there's memes out there of like Mark Wahlberg running, and it's like him running to the next script about Boston. Like he wants to be the face of all these Boston movies. He's an absolute fraud. He's in Hollywood. Congratulations, Mark Wahlberg. You got out of Dorchester. You went to LA. You're living the life. You make good movies. I don't hate his movies, but it's just, don't act like you're from here because you're not here anymore. You left here. You're not Boston anymore, dude. You're LA. And you even said that you live in LA longer than you did in Boston. So when it comes to sports, leave it to the real fans that are still here, that are not going away anytime soon. Don't come here and act like you're something. And if anything, your brother Donnie Wahlberg is a bigger fan. He at least shows up to the games, rocks the gear, and it is what it is. The Wahlbergs have themselves here with the Wahlburgers, and they do give back to the community and they help out. But Mark Wahlberg, you're an absolute fraud when it comes to Boston sports.
Yeah, shout out Woke Gene for showing his ass live to Nick Wright on Instagram. Probably better than the Mark Wahlberg thing.
But here's my take on all the comments that I'm reading. And obviously, it's all 12-year-olds, and they're just like, one person's like, "I mean, I like the Celtics and the Lakers." What the fuck has happened to rivalries in sports? Sox, Yankees, Bruins, Canadians, Lakers, Celtics. What's happened to like Dodgers and Angels? What's other ones like fucking
Bloods, Crips.
Bloods, Crips. What about the Mexican cartel versus the ICE? I don't know. How about the fucking Mets and Yankees? Everyone loves everybody. It's the participation trophy era that we live in. And yes, I have said it myself. I love LeBron James as a player. If the Celtics are out of it, I'm rooting for LeBron. Absolutely. Am I rooting for the Lakers? No, I'm rooting for just LeBron himself because I understand what we're living in. Just like people root for Tom Brady and the Patriots because they want to continue seeing the greatness. I see all these comments, and I understand that we are a dying breed in sports. The people that know rivals, the people who say, beat LA, fuck the Lakers, fuck LeBron, fuck this, whatever. That's a dying, I'm throwing things now. There's a dying breed out there, and it makes me hate this younger generation that's about to come up. It makes me think about Portnoy and back in the day where he said the pussification of America. And this is right there. It's a sports pussification of all these young little kids coming out here saying, "I love everybody. Everybody love everybody." Just like Jackie Moon, everybody love everybody. Caiden, I brought you in here not only for your hot takes, but you are part of this younger generation that I'm hating, the same generation that supports me. I want to know what your take is on all this Mark Wahlberg hate. You've seen it, right? I did my post.
Yeah.
You hear my side of the story. You know their side of the story. You're in the middle. What are you doing?
I'm staying to the game. I'm staying at the game. honestly, I don't have millions of dollars, so I would stay at the game regardless because I'm at the Super Bowl, and that's really cool to be at. But yeah, I'm not leaving, because you never know what's going to happen. I think that's just a thing I learned being a Boston fan since day one, and you just can't give up on your teams because you never know what's going to happen.
But what about these people coming out now and saying, well, I like to root for two teams, or I root for everybody. I root for sports. I love sports. What do you think about that?
Oh, I think you root for your hometown teams. I don't think there's a bunch of people that I know who have like a favorite team that's different for every sport. So like they'll like the Warriors, and then they'll like the Chiefs, just bandwagon fans. And I think that's, it's very popular now. I think you just always have to root for your hometown teams.
I understand for those people that might be like, I have a Boston Celtic connect, but I live in LA, but I grew up on the Celtics. It should be this. In every sport, you stick with one team. That's it. Mm-hmm. I don't mind if you live in LA and you're like, oh, well, I'm a Rams fan now, and I'm LA Kings fan, but I am a Celtics fan. So that means you can't root for the Lakers. You can't root for the Clippers. You can't root for the Warriors. You got to stay true to that one team that you pick at all times. That's like respect to, say, Mikey McColgan, because Mikey McColgan out there loves the Indianapolis Colts. It's just what he grew up on. And he lives in New England, but he's always stayed true to his team. And he would talk shit about the Patriots all the time. That's staying true in sports as a fan. And that's what I'm starting to see that we're starting to go away from.
I kind of see that, especially when you have conversations. Like, I'm not in New England anymore, but you see these conversations with people just talking sports, like, oh, who are you for? Who's like, what's your favorite teams? And I'll mention I'm a Red Sox fan, or I'll mention I'm a Celtics fan, and people will be like, oh, they're my second favorite team. Like, they're my second team. I root for them when I'm not rooting for my other team. And it's just like, you got to choose one. I've never been a big believer in the whole, oh, I've got a team in the West in the NBA, and I got a team in the East, so I can cheer for one on both sides. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me.
Let me clarify that too. There's a difference between rooting for a player individually and then rooting for an entire team. Because again, I don't want to sound so hypocritical again. I root for LeBron James because I understand what he's doing right now, and he's literally the GOAT right now in basketball. So I'm rooting for him as an individual, but I ain't rooting for the Lakers. I'm rooting for an individual like that. And you can do that in sports.
I agree with you on a lesser scale, though. For me, I follow the football religiously. Like, we all know this anyway. I'm a big fan of the safety position. I really think it's underrated, so I follow a lot of these guys' careers. Minkah Fitzpatrick, he's a Steeler now. Derwin James, a Charger. Even Jamal Adams, a Jet. And people are always saying to me, well, you can't really vote for each, or maybe now you can vote for the team itself. No, you can't. There is a very distinct difference between voting for a player and voting for a team. I can like how someone plays the game of football, but I can still hate everything about their team.
So can you explain that you're a Patriots fan, right?
Yes.
And you're wearing a Saints hat.
Yes.
Tough scene.
Yeah, no, I realized
right, this
as soon
is
as we
the
started
biggest
this
problem.
podcast, it was probably the wrong time to wear this hat.
Just flip it back.
Problem
all right,
all this. I'll tell
Tyler,
you why this is
go
all
ahead.
wrong. It's because social media and all these people who are just getting Twitter accounts, they don't want to put their real name like we asked. Like when we were growing up making Twitter accounts, you made Tyler Miller, you made Brandon Watabe. Now I'm seeing Embiid World or like Simmons Season and all this stuff, like LeBron the GOAT and all those people who
Young Gronk.
They don't watch anything like that. They don't pay attention to the games or anything. They're online to troll. And like we were talking about Gene. Gene does this the perfect way. Gene knows what he's talking about. He watches the games. He does all this stuff, but he trolls like anyone out there. Like, he is top 5 and just trolling everybody on the internet. But he knows what he's talking about. If you actually come at him, he's like, all right, let's have a legitimate conversation. For the he's the 0.0001. For the other 99.999% of the people are absolute morons that have no idea what they're talking about. They're just sitting there and their one thing is, oh, this is anti what I think. Let me just make fun of this or do clown emoji L. Like, there's no legitimate talks anymore. It's everyone's like big L dog or rare W king or you drop this. I'm like, oh my goodness, I hate this stupid thing. It's a recurring cycle.
It only takes a few of us out there to have the thick skin to be able to go on social media and go against the other way and go against the grain, because obviously someone's going to have a clown emoji and they get 50 likes and they, oh, that guy got 50. I'm going to agree with him and make him look like a clown. Yet there are so many closeted people that would DM me after the Mark Wahlberg thing and say, dude, I completely agree with you, but they're too scared to comment that because they know that people will just troll them and they don't want to be trolled. I want to go. We've been ranting on this side of it. Let's go back to Mark Wahlberg for a second. Seriously. Look, I got Kev in the background giving the thumbs up. Let's go back to Mark Wahlberg for a second. Is he a true Boston sports fan? Yes or no? Go around the table.
No.
No.
Yes.
No.
All right, so you got one yes, and go why. Talk to us.
I just gotta say yeah, because like when it comes to sports, you're gonna be fans of a specific team, and when I don't think when you're thinking Mark Wahlberg, you're not thinking about, oh, he's a LeBron fan. I think the first thing I think about when I think Mark Wahlberg is like, oh, all the movies and stuff he's in, and then like he's from New England, he's from that area, he's dabbed up Tom Brady after a Super Bowl. So I like that picture of him like handshaking Tom Brady after I think Super Bowl 49. That's one of the first things I think about. Like I know I would defend Mark Wahlberg.
All right, no. This is the thing. This is the thing. He's not a Patriots fan. He's a Tom Brady fan.
That's fair.
I keep saying this. The Patriots are going to stink for a very long time coming up. Like, they're not going to be as good. They'll be lucky to get a Super Bowl in the next, 5-something years. You are not going to see Mark Wahlberg at any Patriots
and he's not as diehard as a
Tom
fan.
Brady's not there anymore.
He's not as diehard of a fan as like the five of us are when it comes to the Celtics and to the Patriots.
Yeah, the only time
he's still a fan. Yeah.
Well, the only time you'll see him in Boston, you will not see him just like regular there. You will see him parked next to like Donnie on the bench or something like that, or in the garden or something, and they'll each have Wahlburgers hats stapled to their skull because they need to promote the brand. They're not going for the sport; they're going for the advertising. This is why I don't think they're a fan, because he doesn't know anything that's going on behind the scenes.
I couldn't let all five of us be anti.
I get it. You got to play devil's
The fact is this, that the people are coming out and defending him, saying he's a massive Boston sports fan. He would die for the city of Boston. This is to say, fuck you, dude. He's a fraud. Mark Wahlberg's a fraud. And I am not letting this go away. I am going to continue going after Mark Wahlberg. If I see him go to any of these games, I am going to say how much if I wish sports was going on right now, because I knew if Mark Wahlberg, maybe he'd be there for the NBA Finals and the Celtics make it, I will bring a sign that says Mark Wahlberg is a Boston sports fraud. He's a Boston sports fraud. He shouldn't be there.
All right, let's get into these hot take seasons. This is the one we've really been waiting for. Unless you have anything else you want to add.
You said you wanted to talk about Roger Goodell.
We'll talk about that later, because I want to see what else comes around from this.
Let's do 5 takes from Caiden. We'll do from 10 to 5 takes, starting at number 10. And then we'll take a little break.
Then I can yell like Goodell.
Okay. Sounds good.
Hot
So,
takes are brought to you by Eggo.
Yeah, this hot take is brought to you by Eggo's chocolate chip waffles.
Oh, you should have been it's the hot cakes, hot takes.
Hot takes by hot takes and hot cakes.
All right.
Hot takes and pancakes.
Well, Eggo's makes pancakes, so.
They do. They make also breakfast sandwiches. You can buy them at your local stores in the freezer aisle. Caiden Bodak is here. If you don't know who Caiden Bodak is, again, Caiden Bodak is one of the guys on Boston Power Hour with Jake Seymour and Jamison Rinn. Shout out to you guys over there. You do your little thing. Caiden just does whatever he wants here at Ride. I don't even know what Caiden does anymore. I think he came in for a Bruins writing position and just started doing whatever the fuck he wants to do, and that's absolutely fine. He's still here. We like his hot takes. We want to put Caiden on the spot. I remember when I went on the part-time Friends podcast, and we talked about you, and then they were like, we want you on a show, and I don't think that ever happened. But
yeah, no, I never got on.
We need to say, that's so cute. Oh, Caiden's so cute. We love him so much. But Caiden's here. Hot takes. Give us number 10.
All right. So before the show, I was talking, and I said my number 10 is kind of weak because you guys, like, not everybody's a golf fan. But, my 10th hot take is Patrick Cantlay. He's going to win the 2020 Masters. He's been on fire the last 4 seasons. He's had 10 top 4 finishes. He's finished second in the Shriners Hospital for Children's Open and 4th in the Century Tournament of Champions. That's his 2 best finishes in 2020 season. He's currently ranked 29th in the FedEx Cup rankings. So I just think it's his year, and especially with the shortened season because of the coronavirus, I think he can really make a run at the Masters.
I think Tiger wins it.
I don't know golf, so I can't even comment on that.
Shooter McGavin, plus 10,000.
All right, so
I want to say, Caiden, take these 10 takes and save them in a vault because we got to make sure at the end of the year these come out.
Oh, yeah. I got them saved in the doc, so I'll.
Perfect.
Oh, no, I'm actively sending these to Freezing Hot Takes on Instagram. I'm just waiting.
So the next one is kind of 2020 and beyond. but this is a really hot one, and it
Number
landed number 9. But Jarrett Stidham, he's going to be a Hall of Famer quarterback.
Jarrett Stidham, a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Because
Go ahead, explain why.
when this happens in 20 years, people are going to be like, oh, well, because Tom Brady, I think he went 33. He threw 3 passes and had 1 completion his rookie season. Nobody would have thought that this guy would have been a Hall of Famer. Same thing for Jarrett Stidham. He threw a pick 6, and everybody's like, oh, this guy sucks or whatever. I think that, Bill
Tom Brady was
Belichick-
a Hall of Famer 10 years ago.
Yeah, but you would never have thought that, coming off his rookie season, you never would have been like, this guy's a Hall of Famer. So you got to take a long shot here and just go, Jarrett Stidham's going to be a Hall of Famer. You never know.
I'm going to look at that and just say that, and to go on his point, is that Tom Brady was taking over for Drew Bledsoe, one of the the highest paid quarterback at that time, 10 years, $100 million, which was unheard of that time. A first-round draft pick I believe Bledsoe was first overall, right? Was he? So imagine Tom Brady, who threw 3 passes the year before in 2000, scrawny kid in the 6th round was taking over. Bill Belichick. And that's what we might see if Stidham can become something. I want to go on top of that, too, and say, Caiden, how does Stidham become a Hall of Famer? What does he have to do to become a Hall of Famer?
He's got to win like two Super Bowls, which I think is doable because you got guys like N'Keal Harry, which should be with him for a long time. And, you can build up having 2 bad seasons, maybe next year and the year after that. You can build up some draft picks and kind of, build up your roster a little bit. I was listening to WEEI this morning, and they were talking about how they have so many guys that just haven't played yet that they drafted and have been hurt. So I think that, they can strengthen up their team a little bit. There's that guy, the Tennessee guy that you had on the podcast a little bit ago who announced that guy's name, the guy from West Virginia.
Oh, yeah, Justin Zola. Yeah. Kajust.
Yeah,
Yodny
so
Kajust.
like that's one of the guys that hasn't played yet. So you never know. He can get a little bit of a stronger O-line. And if he wins like 2 Super Bowls and becomes has 1 MVP, Super Bowl MVP, I think he could be a Hall of Famer just because of the position he's in. You're taking over for the GOAT.
Caiden,
I don't know enough
I have
about
a
him.
question. Are you basing this solely off the fact that he was terrible in his rookie year and you're comparing him to Tom Brady? Because I really I understand
They
the
also
of what you're saying.
wear Patriots jerseys when they play.
That is true.
I was comparing his rookie season to Tom Brady's rookie season and how bad they were, and then how people kind of gave up on him and were like, well, he's going to suck, because you would not say that Tom Brady was going to be a Hall of Famer after his rookie
But
season.
is this the
I
is that
have
the only,
one-
is that the only leg you have to stand on? Just saying that they both were not impressive their rookie year.
And then also this circumstance, and if he succeeds taking over for the GOAT, he could definitely be a Hall of Famer.
I look at it in this way, Brendan.
So
you go first,
that's
actually.
like the same argument for Giovanni Carmazzi, who took over for Steve Young. He was fucking awful.
That's what I'm saying. I want to talk about Steve Young. I want to say, because you can put Tom Brady and Joe Montana on the same level playing field, like they were both the greatest of their eras. Will Jarrett Stidham be better or worse than Steve Young?
He's going to be better than Steve Young because the game's changed and he's going to be a more fun quarterback to watch. And I think the other thing is Giovanni Carmazzi went to Hofstra, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
I need to know fun facts about Stidham before I like him.
And Stidham went to Auburn, so that's pretty cool.
It's not a fun fact.
His wife is better looking than Giselle, so that's another
It's also
fun
not
fact.
a fun fact.
Is that a hot take or a fun fact?
I need to know what's his what's his life outside the field? Does he do some stupid things that are funny?
I have no
Jarrett
idea.
Stidham, I need to be a marketably funny quarterback.
So he's not going to be markedly funny, but coming out of
Then I
high
don't
school, I
want
think he was Mr. Football in Texas or something, and then played 2 years at Baylor, then was a scout team quarterback at a high school, and then transferred to Auburn.
I have an open question here for all 4 of you guys. Stidham took that picture in the throne, and with his foot on the helmet, like he's the new king. Do you think that he asked to take that picture? Who told him to take that? It's just an interesting picture.
It was
because now-
not him. He did not request
But
it.
the the fact that it's even allowed, that I like that confidence booster almost. Like it was known that it was going to be him taking over. That's a picture you're going to look back on if he becomes a Hall of
when he's out of the
Famer.
league in 2 minutes.
And he just got drafted. It takes that picture. I actually like Caiden's hot take there. That's
All
a
right.
reasonable hot take. That
One more thing on this, and we'll move on to
Yep.
the next one. Why would you take this Auburn quarterback when the other much better Auburn quarterback is still a free agent in Cam Newton?
Because Cam Newton is 20, what is he, 28, 30 years old?
He's
And he-
6'5", 200-something pounds, and is a freak of nature athlete.
And
And
And he
types-
can't stay
Super
healthy.
Bowl.
He can't stay healthy.
And Cam Newton lost the love of the game of football.
I
He's
would
just
take
like
Cam Newton
Andrew
on my
Luck.
team in a heartbeat.
Same thing. Cam
Cam
Newton
Newton
does
is
not love
nothing
the
like
game.
Andrew Luck.
There's
And-
obviously something wrong when he gets cut by the Carolina Panthers and he's a free agent and no one's scooped him up yet.
And
That's
the Patriots organization believes in Stidham, and he knows this Patriot way, and that's something
I
Cam
don't know.
Newton
Well,
doesn't.
we've seen things like that before with quarterbacks who've been cut by their teams. I mean, you see Kurt Warner went to a Super Bowl after he was cut by 2 teams. You see guys like Brett Favre who got traded 3 times and still went to an NFC Championship game. You see Joe Montana, who is almost, I think he was 35 years old and went to an NFC Championship game with the Chiefs, who sucked. Their best offensive weapon was a 35-year-old Joe Montana and an old-ass, Marcus Allen. Like you've seen this before. I wouldn't be surprised if Cam Newton goes out and balls out for the next couple seasons.
All right, Caiden, let's go on to number 8 here. Let's
All
go
right,
on to 8 hot take.
Number 8 is Jameis Winston won't see the football field this year.
He
He's
just
gonna,
got surgery to see.
so he's going to, if he's gonna play backup, and he's gonna want starting quarterback money, which no team's gonna give him, and that's why I think he's gonna be not see the football field this year.
Thoughts on that?
Where's
I'll take
Mariota?
it.
Las Vegas.
So
backing
would
up
you rather
Carr.
take Mariota or Winston? There's one right answer here.
I'd take Winston.
Yeah.
Take
Well,
Winston.
why does Winston not have a job over Mariota? Mariota
Well,
stinks.
because you'd have to pay Winston a lot more money, I think.
Yeah,
At the
Winston's
time-
gonna want a
well,
lot of
before
money.
Mariota signed, it would have had a lot more money involved. But then Mariota signed, so his market shot down. And 2, Mariota works better in the Raiders' long-term plans. They plan moving him forward either with Derek Carr or drafting a guy. You can use Mariota in sub-packages that you can't use the other 2 guys in.
Something that we discussed about, and this is the hot take of Babz, and we've said this between me and Stafford about the Bengals taking the number 1 pick instead of going all in on Joe Burrow. They traded away to Miami. They take Miami's picks. You end up drafting like a Tua at that spot, and then you don't play Tua next year. You bring in a Jameis Winston or a Cam Newton to be your starter as your bridge guy and let that guy just heal up and develop over time.
And then you guys look like the clowns that skipped on Joe Burrow.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow might not succeed in Cincinnati. It's a whole nother story that we can completely go off the rails there.
Did you see that? Speaking of Cam Newton and Joe Burrow, do you know like Tyler I am? Like it's a Barstool guy. He tweeted out a poll saying, who would you rather have, like 2010 Cam Newton, like who had the best college career or season? Like 2010 Cam Newton or 2019 Joe Burrow?
That's ooh.
I
Gotta
voted
take
Cam.
Burrow. I take Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. Except
Tyler?
even though he went to Auburn, Joe Burrow.
Thank
Caden,
you
how old
for-
were you in 2010?
7.
Were you a big Cam Newton fan?
No, I liked Auburn, but I wasn't. I wasn't.
So
a
wait,
kid.
you got to explain your Auburn ties real quick. I never knew these.
So basically, my first college football game was down in Auburn, so that's how I became an Auburn fan.
Simple. All right. I thought we were gonna go
Hey,
long, intricate story.
That's lucky. You got
All right,
lucky
Kate.
there because I went to a college football game and it was UConn, and now I'm stuck with them.
All right, Katie, let's move on to number 7.
Number
7.
Number 7 is John Morant will win NBA Rookie of the Year over Zion. This
Yeah.
is
That's not the hottest of takes. I feel like it's
It-
already
Zion played 9 games.
19, but people are still
Played
like,
19 games.
yeah, the odds are still pretty good for him to win Rookie of the Year. Like it's not a runaway for Ja here.
What happens if the season is just goes right into the playoffs? You know, you're
Well,
just
that's how-
basing on Like if
And
the season ended today, like the season's over, we're just going right into playoffs. You say he's winning over Zion right now.
Yeah.
oh yeah, because the Grizzlies are in the playoffs.
Yep.
So if that happened, then he leads them to the playoffs, and Zion's only played 19 games. I think that people can make a case for Zion. And the thing you have to think about is it's not based on stats or anything. Just regular people are voting, with like Bill Simmons and stuff,
Your
So
hot-
you could
your-
be like,
Your
Go
hot
ahead.
takes cool. Your hot takes cooling off a little bit. That's it. Like we're going up the list and we're getting higher here. We're going to number 6. Go to number 6.
all right, number 6 here. This is going to be another one that's it's. I think it's a hot take here. So Jarrett Stidham will be the Patriots' Week 1 starter, which is normal, but he will lead the Patriots to the postseason.
I mean, that's not a hot take either.
You don't think how's that
No.
not a hot take?
I'd say
Because
that
it's
one's
a team.
better
It's
than
a
the
team
last one.
sport. It's a team sport.
You
Yeah.
think- You think a guy that?
Well, it's just saying like the
many people
Patriots
think
are
that
going to the playoffs.
I mean, a guy just said he's going to be a Hall of Famer should probably believe that.
Yeah, and then but many people are. This guy threw what 25%.
There's
4
7 teams.
passes.
There's 7 teams going to the playoffs now, and last year the Pittsburgh Steelers went 8-8, 8-8, and they would have made the playoffs based on the new ruling. So like the Pats have to just go 500, and they'll end up getting in there. So if they go 500, go 8-8, are you gonna say that? Oh, Jarrett Stidham led them to the playoffs. Are you? That's what you're saying because he is technically the leader. You are the leader. Your QB's at the helm.
Yeah, he's good. Yes, he's gonna have 3,500 passing yards, and he's gonna, have 20 or 30 touchdowns. Let's say, and
30
then
touchdowns is a hot
Yeah.
take.
Now that's a hot take.
Yeah, that's a hot take.
well, okay, so he's gonna have 30 touchdowns.
No, that doesn't count. You that's the whole thing.
Counter that. All right, you're cooling off.
I
All right,
know,
let me yell at Roger Goodell real quick.
Wait. One
right.
more.
Oh.
Number 5.
Five.
Right?
All right, I think this
Five.
one's
4,
Uh,
3, 2, 1. Wait, what do we got? What did you just have? Number 6?
yeah.
All right, we're off. You're off for a second.
All right,
go
Roger
with
Goodell's
five.
an idiot.
I got to bounce back here. So
No, you bounce back after Roger Goodell. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Tyler.
Did
Your
everybody
time.
see what Roger Goodell was saying? I'm not sure if we've talked about this before, but if anyone disagrees with them, they're punishable by fine or like punishment. Who is Roger Goodell to say? The commissioner of the NFL, obviously. But like people are just gonna let him get away with all this
You're
without
saying my way or the
saying
highway.
anything? Yeah, he's literally
Well,
saying
no,
like,
it's similar to the rule they have with the referees. You can't openly criticize a referee in a post-game press conference, else you can get fined.
stupid. That is dumb.
I agree with you. I'm just saying it's
Yeah,
consistent with what they've done before.
So if they have any gripes against the draft, they can't say anything.
Nope.
So
That's
Roger
brutal.
Goodell's anti-free speech.
Roger Goodell's a fascist.
Let's get that rumor started, huh?
Can we make a T-shirt with that? Just like a T-shirt. Roger
Not a
Goodell's
rumor, it's a
fascist.
fact.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about him, really. Like, he's just like, why is everyone okay with this? I think he also slid this under the rug at the perfect time when everyone's more worried about Corona than the
Yeah,
NFL
no one
draft.
accused him of being an idiot. No one accused him of being stupid.
Yeah.
All right, Caiden, go.
all right. So the next one is PJ Walker is going to take over by week 9 as a starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers.
Now I like that. I
don't know
like
who
that.
Joe Walker-
Are you kidding,
So-
dude?
I have
That's
no
the
idea who
XFL
Joe
guy?
Walker is.
If
Yeah,
the XFL
XFL
season
MVP.
would have went on, he would have been the
Oh,
MVP.
yeah. I forgot he's the XFL guy.
I'd expect the Panthers to get off to a rocky start here with Bridgewater. And they'd have no choice by week 9 at the latest to switch QBs.
Oh, they got Bridgewater?
Yeah.
I was thinking Kyle Allen was still the guy.
No, they
Wake
traded
up,
him
Brandon.
to the
He's on the
Redskins.
Redskins.
Oh, man.
The
Where I've been.
Carolina has some pretty tough opponents this year. They got the Chiefs, the Saints twice, the Vikings. I think the Vikings can be kind of scary this year, and then Green Bay as well is not going to be a easy matchup. I think in 5 games, Walker had 15 touchdowns and he threw for 1,300 yards. I think that the Panthers are going to have no choice but to switch to Walker.
So I agree with you just on the basis that I think people overrate Teddy Bridgewater tremendously. I mean, the dude, was promising in Minnesota, had an absolute nightmare injury, ACL injury, goes to back up Drew Brees, goes 5-0 with a unbelievable offense around him. Granted, he had an all-pro running back and Michael Thomas around him. At the end of the day, he's an average quarterback. He's going to give you, if you start the whole season, like you said, probably low 20, mid-20s touchdowns, probably mid-teens interceptions, add maybe a couple hundred yards on the ground. He's nothing special. So I do think if they start to a rocky start, I think Caiden's absolutely right that PJ Walker will be the guy in Carolina, at least for the next season.
Is he QB2?
He's going to be QB2.
Okay. Yeah, why not?
They still got Will Greer there too, so they.
Will Greer
He's in his
stinks.
zone.
Will
Yeah,
Greer
I'm
stinks.
not saying that he's going to be anything, but I.
Yeah, no,
surprised
I
that
want
they
to go on
carried-
record. I want to go on record. I was completely wrong about Will Grier. I wanted the Patriots to draft him so badly in that third, fourth round when he was still available, but he has been an absolute train wreck. Oh my God, it was painful to watch him play in the preseason and the last season when he kind of filled in for everybody towards the end of the year.
All right, so my next hot take is that Jake Bailey will be the play. I know Babz, you're big on this too, but Jake Bailey is going to be the punter and place kicker for the Patriots next year.
I love that. I love that because Jake Bailey was a kicker who ended up becoming a punter, and last year was kind of forced into taking the kickoffs. I think there was a reason why Belichick drafted him originally. He was drafted. Go ahead. You have your hand raised, and I'm not going to bother with the rant. Go ahead.
I have a question, Babz.
What?
Why did he change the position in the first place?
Because he probably sucked as a kicker.
I rest my case.
Okay, but Belichick
love
sees
it.
something out of him, and I feel that, hey, kid, all we need you to do is kick 30-yard field goals. Just the extra points. Let our defense do the rest. We're not going to be going for it when it's 50 yards or, 45 yards or even 40 yards. I think that it's just getting him comfortable and taking an extra year to 2 years to get him ready to be the kicker. It's a Belichick type of move to use one player for two positions and changes the game. I think it's a way that Belichick can leave his mark on the game, another mark on the game, going forward and really change that position to be a hybrid position.
On record, I hope you're right because I actually like Jake Bailey a lot as a player, especially as a punter. So I hope you're right. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, he place kicked in high school, so he punted all of college.
Get Cole Tracy, Worcester bound. The LSU kid from Assumption, from Worcester.
And
Bring
then
him to New England.
Then he went to LSU.
Yeah. But I'm saying he started in Assumption.
Yeah, they named the athletic facility or something after him, right?
Assumption low-key the best D2 football school like in the country, like low-key.
The Saints just had like the Pro Bowl punt returner from Assumption that went.
Yeah, low-key unbelievable program.
I will say this: if Belichick and the Patriots do not draft a kicker, and they don't draft somebody, that means they're going with Jake Bailey. That means they're sticking with him. And that.
How often do kickers and punters get drafted? Are they more just picked up?
Fun fact: the Jacksonville Jaguars took a punter
First
before
round,
Russell
right?
Wilson was off the board.
Who was that guy? It was
Ryan Anger, I think his name.
Yeah. No, there was one
From Florida State, that guy.
There was one I would always get him when I was doing fantasy drafts. He was the kickers. He was the
Sebastian
Jaguars.
Janikowski?
Yeah, that guy. He was drafted
Raiders.
early, right?
Second
Raiders,
round.
not Jags.
Second round.
That's what it was. I knew there was.
Actually,
a
second
first
round
It might have been
kicker?
No, he
first
was first round. He was a
It was
first
first
rounder.
I
round.
think he was
Yeah,
first
And then
round.
Roberto Aguayo was a second rounder.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Marquette King? Isn't he in the XFL?
Marquette
Yeah,
King's
he
a
was.
baller.
Yeah.
Like,
He
I
had that
love
one
him.
marketable season, then just fell off the face of the earth.
He
I
was
don't
a Pro
think-
Bowl punter once, and that was it.
I think that Marquette King did a lot of social media, and I don't think that teams really like that stuff. That's why what's his face that they always talk about? What's the guy that
McAfee.
no, not him. But,
No, the kid from UCF.
is that the kid that's always
Taco
like
Fall.
who's the guy that got in a fight with fucking AB, the kicker, kicker that all you young kids love. That's a YouTube star.
Yeah.
He's a YouTube star. Why do
Logan
I know his
Paul?
name? Because he reached out to us once, and I wanted to get to him.
Donald De La Haye.
No, not him.
Destroying?
Wait,
Yeah,
the trick star
yeah,
kicker or
that's
whatever?
Destroying. It's destroying
Yeah.
that fucking guy.
Yeah.
And
His
every
name
time-
is Donald De La Haye, though.
Okay, thank you. Well, I didn't know his name was that. No, not him.
He's
And someone
destroying.
like him, he's too distracting for the team, and I think that's what is wrong with Marquette.
Yeah,
King.
but I don't buy that whole you're distracted by social media. Like when you're in bed at night, would you rather be just tweeting out your thoughts or be at a club doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing? Like I think people should be leaning more towards like, hey, who cares? Market yourself through social media. It'll grow the game. It'll make it fun. Like you'll just grow your brand. Or we could have Aaron Hernandez instead of tweeting at night, he's shooting people in the face.
I know.
Like,
That's
way
just
out our
I think that's
options.
just how backwards football is and how the organization's
Yeah,
think.
to Bab's point on that Marquette King thing, he actually got penalized a hefty amount his last season in Oakland. He got, I think, 4 or 5 flags on him as a punter. That's ridiculous. You're just costing your
Unbelievable. I
team
love
yards.
that.
So,
All right.
And your own stats. If you punt it and then you lose 15 yards because you're a moron,
Yeah.
like awesome.
Caiden, I think we're going to your top 3. So number 3, it's got to get a little hotter in here. I'm gonna be starting to sweat a little bit.
All right.
Let's take it.
So Tom Brady is going to struggle with the Bucks, a stacked Bucks team that has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin,
Shut up, Penn State.
and they're going to have 5 wins.
You
Whoa,
stole my
I
take.
like that. I like that.
We had that take on the
No,
last show.
Stafford.
No, but Stafford never put 5 wins on that.
Yeah, you never said 5 wins. You never
This
said
is
5.
garbage.
5 wins is a hot take, though. That's the hot take right there. 5 wins with Caiden. If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a 5-win team, does that mean Tom Brady is starting all 16 games this year, or is he actually going to get benched at some point? That's not a hot take.
You have to start them because I think the ticket sales are going to be so good.
But 5 wins. You're going into week 14 now, and you probably only have 4 wins at that point with 3 games remaining, and they're out of the playoff race. You're still starting Tom Brady.
Yeah, I think so. Because who else are they gonna? You
draft
pick
Tom.
up?
You sign Tom Brady to play him, even if they stink.
But is Tom Brady going to be willing to play? Like, is Tom Brady like, nah, fuck this?
He's a psychopath. That loves football. If he was thinking that, dude, he wouldn't be 43 years old or however old he is, as old as dirt, playing football still.
He'd do the D Wade move and get traded back to New England.
Tom Brady has never had a losing season as a starter. I mean, the Pats went 5-11 when he was drafted, so he knows what a losing team is like. He's seen it with his own eyes, but only once in his career, once as a rookie. So that's a hot take, and I will go with you on that one. The Bucks are either going all the way, or he's not acclimated down there. He doesn't have the same rhythm as he thinks he's going to have with those players, and they actually stink.
I think he's totally overrated. I mean, what is he, 40-something years old?
Tom Brady leaves the Patriots for 1 year, and New England turns it.
He can't win a big game anymore. Like, just
Tom Brady.
He won the Super Bowl a year and a half ago.
Well, that was a year and a half ago. This is now. He can't win a big game.
We don't need to deny that Tom Brady's still an unreal quarterback. He left 45 minutes ago. He left the bag at home and is turning around to go and pick it back up. He's not even in Tampa yet, and people are already slandering his name.
I will say he's still a good quarterback. He's not the best quarterback in the league by any means. Not the best quarterback. He's a good quarterback, but I will go on Caiden's side for a second here and say that last year, sometimes at some points of those games, Brady didn't look like the Tom Brady you knew. I will blame it more on his receivers. I will blame it on Tom Brady. It's an equal fault for everybody there. But Tom Brady, talk to me last year. How many big games did Tom Brady win? Did Tom Brady himself?
Tyler Miller, will not allow Tom Brady slander on this.
Yeah,
go kick rocks. Go rocks.
The other thing is
that he's bad anymore.
Do you remember the Chiefs game? That Chiefs game that was so important for that 1 seed, and like Tom Brady didn't have the worst game in the world, but I hate blaming the refs, but that was one of those games where if N'Keal Harry's in the end zone there, it's a whole different season.
Early in the season, they played the Buffalo Bills, and Tom Brady had his worst QBR in history. And it was a defensive slugfest up there.
Still went on to win their next 5 games.
Even the Miami games, Tom Brady looked good, but that was the defense that just piled on those. But the defense, they could have scored 0 offensive points, and they still would have beat Miami. Like
Tom Brady leaves New England, and everybody from New England starts sounding like people who hated Tom Brady.
No, but you know, Babz said he had a bad season because of his receivers or whatever. But elite quarterbacks, elite players, make good with what they have, and Tom Brady couldn't do that.
All right, real quick. If Tom Brady,
hold on.
Wait.
He's done that his whole career. Do you think Wes Welker, the Julian Edelmans of the world, the Danny Amendolas, all of them, when they first got there, everybody sees what Julian Edelman looked like. The kid looked like he came out of what's that guy's name? Pig
Trailer Park.
From Snoopy or whatever it's called. What is that called? Peanuts? Yeah, he looked like the dude that just a stink around him all the time. And he comes and now he's like a heartthrob in New England. And he's a legitimate receiver. Last year, that one season that he couldn't get Jacoby Myers going as a rookie, and you couldn't get.
That's because Tom Brady didn't want to spend the extra time. He knew he was already out the door. He didn't care. Whatever was.
That's fine.
No, if he thought he could do it, he would have spent the extra time. He knows he's 43 and he knows he can't do it.
I like that. If he knew he could do it and win another one with the Patriots, he would have did it. He didn't bother spending extra time. He wanted Antonio Brown. They got him Antonio Brown. The Patriots went out and got Antonio Brown and gave him that receiver.
And then Brady shipped him out of town?
And what does he do? He knows he can't win a Super Bowl in New England. He can't win a Super Bowl anywhere else. He goes to Tampa, signs a $60 million contract, and goes and plays golf.
I will say this real quick.
And he's not even going to play a game for the Bucs because Corona's going to ruin the season. So this is lock on.
Before we go to number 2, Caiden, Tom Brady, does this hurt his legacy if he goes to the Tampa Bay Bucs and has only 5-6 wins or doesn't even make the playoffs? Does that hurt his legacy?
No, because I think you just can't discount what he did in New England.
Oh, it absolutely does.
I think it hurts his legacy because you're going in with a stacked offense around him.
Yeah.
If that Brady could go to the playoffs last year with the team that he had in New England, I know a lot of it was defense too. He should be able to easily go to the playoffs with this team.
But the legacy thing, it's gonna elevate what Bill Belichick was able to do. It's gonna elevate Bill Belichick in that Tom Brady versus Bill conversation.
Yeah, just a quick highlight. Buccaneers defense sucks. Offensive line sucks. Just so you guys know, he's 43 years old. So when he drops back on those 7-step drops, throw deep to Tom Brady, to Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, he's going to get sacked. He's going to get hurt.
That's why we're here.
Question. So is Michael Jordan's legacy impacted negatively because he went to the Wizards?
Yes.
No.
Yes, 100%.
No, because Jordan was still averaging 23 points a game.
Yeah, and then the Wizards went 19-63.
And Tom Brady isn't going to go play baseball for a year.
And yeah, exactly.
I think Michael Jordan's
legacy
is not tainted in any way.
And
I don't see it.
different.
All right, so when you think of Michael Jordan, you think of the Bulls, you think of 6 titles, you think of the 3.
I also think of how he went to the Wizards and sucked.
Also, social
media.
But Tyler, social media didn't exist back then the way it does now. And you know for the fact that if Tom Brady has 5 or 6 wins, you know everyone's coming for his head. Everyone's going out there, and it's going to be blasted out there. Just look at LeBron James.
But the people
LeBron
with brains
sneezes and everyone gets upset about it.
The people with brains who don't want to chase retweets, chase likes, chase going viral, who actually just understand, like, dude, it is 2 years of his career. Nobody cares. Like, we're going to look back on this, like we said, as soon as he signed. You guys keep flip-flopping. Tom Brady's still a good quarterback. Just because he's a Buck, you can't sound like everybody, all the former New England haters, because that's what everyone's sounding like now. You have to pick a side. It's either ride with Brady or don't.
Who's the starter for Penn State quarterback?
This year, Sean Clifford.
He's better than Tom Brady. Okay, number 2, right now, coming up.
National champion.
Aiden, hot take. Give us number 2.
The MLB needs to shorten their season to 100 games.
I'm thinking like 17.
So
this is more for Brandon because I thought he would kind of talk about this a little bit and get a little mad, but that's what I got. So
I think the season's going to get extended. I think they're still going to play 162.
In what, 162 days?
Yeah.
Playing 162 to December.
Bring it all the way into November.
This season's canceled.
So I saw an article recently, Brendan, that it said that the MLB is paying out $170 million to players. They're going to give them some sort of like stipend or money.
Yeah, they're getting some sort of forward from their paychecks.
And then what happens is if they do start the season, let's say mid-May, they're not paying them right away. It's service time, so it's like you have to make up the money we just paid you ahead of time. I have a great, not a hot take. I'll actually save my hot take for afterwards, but it does have to do with the MLB. In terms of shortening the season, there's zero chance they're ever going to do that because they make so much money off of the 162
But
games.
how much money are they going to make having?
Not this year.
But it'll be. I'm all in on. Like,
we get again.
Doesn't even happen. Like if there's no season.
There's no season this year.
Say there's no season. Mookie Betts is coming back to Boston.
Yeah, because technically he's already ran up his
year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't wait for all that noise after this all blows away. All the money people still are owned, or say this happened for, say, years from now, we're still under Corona and all this stuff, and everyone's saying, oh, Mookie Betts, he's technically still a Red Sox. Like, he should come back because he never played. Yeah.
I want to go back to
Dodgers, got millions of dollars.
Wait. Let's go back to Caiden's take for a second here. It's for the 2020 year, so to shorten it to 100 games, that makes sense. Like that's.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you
it's
meant in
not-
general.
Well,
I think he meant in general, but I think he means also that. Remember, this is for 2020 hot takes.
You
so
are
it's just-
covering
Okay,
his
yes,
ass
yes.
this entire podcast, Babz.
I'm not
No.
covering his ass. I
No,
love hot
I
takes.
every problem with the take every time he's talked.
The problem you're gonna
162
run
games is
into-
long anyway.
Yeah,
It's too long.
Yes, it's a long season, yes, but the problem is you're gonna run into so many statistical problems when it comes to that. All these guys have their numbers, these pitchers, these batters, and it's all based around the 160, 150-ish games that the batters are likely going to play, and that's where their averages are coming from. If you get a guy that's going in there and just has a great year, he's only going to have like 400 or 500 plate appearances. You're not going to be able to differentiate it from years like 2019 where guys are having even more plate appearances, and all these numbers like pitchers' win percentages, it's going to all drop because of if there was even a shortened season. You look at the best teams in baseball are losing 60 games a year. All these numbers, percentages, it's going to be so hard to differentiate them. Even if you had a little asterisk by 2020 about, it was the Corona year, the season was shorter. All these numbers for any player that's going to see the show this year, it's going to be different. And
Well,
don't
that's the
think
same with like the NBA lockout.
Yeah.
They only played 66 games. The NHL had a lockout. Like those numbers are skewed, but I don't know.
This-
Baseball,
this-
if anything, they'd go longer before they went.
This
Yeah.
also
It's like
helps with the Red Sox
262
because
games.
if this was a 162 game season, they'd lose 100 games. They're
Oh, yeah.
going to be awful this year.
the Red
Yeah,
Sox aren't
just-
going to be anything. They're going to be
Okay.
an 80 and 80 team.
Caiden, bring us to number one. This is your
And the
hottest
plan.
take of 2020. This has got to be hot.
Corona's a
red hot.
fraud.
Let's hear what you got to say. Number one,
Got to ship Julian Edelman out of Boston.
got to ship him out of Boston. Why are you
Okay.
shipping him out of Boston? Explain your reason.
So he's an unrestricted free agent in 2 years. He seems to want to play with Brady in Tampa Bay. I know he, came up with that Foxborough forever thing, but that was just to cover his ass and, with what he did. So
Also, Brady's Instagram caption when he said he was leaving New England. A Patriot forever. Well, never mind. This message says the total opposite.
and Tampa Bay's loaded with picks. I think they could get a second or third rounder for him. So I think that you have to ship him out because he's not going to re-sign with the Pats after his 2 years are up anyways.
There is not a shot in hell that Edelman goes for more than a fifth rounder. Not a shot in hell.
He goes
Also,
to Tampa,
so-
babe.
stole my take from last podcast.
Hold on, time out.
As
I
if
knew
you
as
said
soon
Edelman
as
was
you said
shipping
that.
out.
Stafford, I see what you're saying here. But are you the only one out there I've heard from multiple people that's not named Joe Stafford that Edelman's got to get out of here. So
You're
if
all
Babz is
stealing it
cover
from me.
Caiden,
You're all
I'm
watching
gonna-
Boston's
I'm
Big
gonna
Three and
cover-
stealing it right from my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, the stats would be up if that were the
No,
case.
on a real note, I just don't see them getting anything more than a fifth round for Edelman.
I think he goes
The
there
fact
because
remains the same. He's over 30 years old. He's a receiver slowing down. He's based on quickness, and the moment his quickness disappears, he has no value to you. And you started to see it come down last season.
I think that he can get you can get the third rounder for him because he's going to Tampa Bay. Brady's going to say, "Where's my slot receiver?" And I'm going to need a guy to throw slants to, and they're going to be like, "All right, we're going to give him a third for Edelman."
Covering Caiden's ass again here. The fact is that Brady wants Edelman. The Patriots know that. They're going to drive up the price and say, we're not shipping him away unless we get a third or a second rounder from him. And Tampa Bay's like, here you go. Because Tampa Bay is going to sell their whole entire farm. What the hell is that clicking noise in the background? It's fucking bothering me. Whoever's doing that, absolutely stop right now. I don't know what it is. It's absolutely bothering me. Unbelievable. I'm trying to rant right now. So the thing is this. The Patriots know that Edelman is going to be a hot commodity for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has the pick. Tampa Bay is like, here you go. No problem whatsoever. And I think that ends up happening. I think that you need to keep Edelman here for the year because you need that veteran leadership on offense. But I had said in the past, we said this on other podcasts, obviously he's stealing the hot takes from us, is that Julian Edelman, it's up to him, and I will not be mad if he said trade me and let me go away because it shouldn't fall on him. Brady leaving shouldn't fall like, oh, Edelman, it's next man up. You have to take this role over. Edelman should be able to do what he wants. He's at the age that he knows that, hey, my production's going to go down. That's going to ruin my incentives, and I want to be part of the team. I want to play. I want to catch. I want to score. He's not going to do that with Stidham.
I just don't think Bruce Arians is stupid enough to fall into Belichick's trap because we were doing it for 20 plus years. We absolutely raid every single team and get a value where they think there's none. They're going to say, no, I'm not trading you a second round pick for a 33-year-old receiver. That's not going to happen. I just don't see it happening.
Bruce Arians is also the head coach of the team that just paid Tom Brady $60 million.
Yes, he's going all in on the season. This doesn't mean he's going to trade away a second round pick for a player who has nowhere near that same value.
Okay, so Stafford, how about the LA Rams? Talk about some of the draft picks they traded away to go all in on their Super Bowl season.
Yeah, look where I got them. They're in cap nightmare right now.
But
that's what you have to do.
They went all in, and they went to the Super Bowl.
And it didn't work.
And it didn't, but they went all in and went to the Super Bowl.
You know why? Because Tom Brady was on the other team, and now you have Tom Brady, and that's when you go all in.
Yeah.
He's a missing piece. And I do see if Edelman does get traded, I would want him to go to Tampa simply because I'm like, hey, Brady and Edelman. And I think
agree.
that would be the only landing spot that a team would be willing to give out a second round pick. Because the Bucs haven't been anything special since Gruden won them a Super Bowl, and they haven't done really anything ever since. So it's like, dude, just trust me. 2 years.
That is a good point.
This is my guy. Just ride it out. What's a second round pick to Julian Edelman for 2 years with Brady?
The thing is, if Tampa was trading for him, you're not just trading for a single slot receiver. You're not just trading for Julian Edelman like any other team would be. You're trading for that combination of Tom Brady and Julian Edelman. It's not just Julian Edelman. You're paying.
And that's worth more than a fifth
exactly.
round pick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Second, whatever you want.
And it's a comfort thing too, like you were talking about. He knows he trusts this guy, and he's kind of the get out of Dodge.
That's why there was
card.
a lot of talk about Danny Amendola and having him linked up with Brady again. He needed that safety net, that safety blanket. He knows he's going to get that out of Julian Edelman. He knows he's going to get a hard worker out of Edelman. He knows he's going to get bailed out on first downs with Julian Edelman. And just think about adding him to the offense. Again, also, too, with cap space, the Pats have $800,000 in cap space right now. They're going to have to start making trades, or they have to start cutting players. They need at least $5 million towards the draft to sign these players coming up. So what's going to happen is, another thing with Edelman is he has $9 million on his contract this year. His dead cap is $8 million right now. $8 million. If they trade him away, they'll at least save $5 million on the cap space or something like that. They don't owe him all that $8 million. They're still going to owe him money on the books this year. And Edelman has a potential opt-out next year. You know for a fact, 100%, he stays here for 1 year. I think it's good if he stays here because it helps his JE11 brand, and I've been big on that. He'll leave. He's going to opt out and go somewhere else this final year. Just get him away, get something. Get a second rounder. We need a second rounder. If they can somehow squeeze that out of Tampa Bay, get that second rounder out.
He's at a peak of his value too right now. Like you're not going to get any more out of him with Tom Brady being new in Tampa Bay, and if he has a bad year next year, which is a possibility with that team that they got with the future Hall of Famer quarterback Jarrett Stidham, I think that you can't get a third rounder for him, but now is the only time you can.
I don't know. I think if Edelman was at his peak trade value 2 years ago when he was 2 years younger with less money on the contract. That's just me. But
to all 30 other teams, but to one team he's worth it. It's the Tampa Bay Bucs with Brady. Mm-hmm. That has been Caiden's 10 hot takes, hot cakes, Eggo waffles. That's what we're doing here today. I'm going to give Babs' hot take that came into my mind the other day. I was at work. We're talking with the guys. One of my manager, a little water cooler talk. Locker room talk. My manager said, he loves baseball. And we're starting to talk about the economy and money. Here's a hot take for you. Because of the coronavirus, COVID-19, I'm saying 3 sports teams will fold because of this. They are going to have no more money left over to end up continuing their operations. 3 professional sports teams and the 4 major sports. 3 of them will fold. When I say fold, that could mean, an example, the Memphis Grizzlies fold, but another buyer will end up buying that team over, but maybe they ship them somewhere else. This could be a perfect opportunity in the NBA, take the worst team in terms of money and marketing and capital. I wanted to actually study this, and I want to look more into this. Take them out. They can't exist anymore. Say it's the Phoenix Suns, like just as an example. All of a sudden, they get bought out by another company or an owner, and they move them to Vegas, or they end up moving them somewhere else. Seattle. Hockey, same thing. Some of these Western teams like that, or like the Dallas Stars, or down in Florida, like the not the Lightning, but the other one, the Panthers. You take that team, they can't afford anything anymore because they're so hurt by the economy, they have to go for sale. I said fold, but for sale. Some of these teams are going to go for sale. I say 3 teams either fold or go for sale. Now I'm kind of contradicting myself.
The New York Knicks.
Can I jump off that real quick?
Go ahead.
I guarantee you, if you are correct and one of those three teams does fail, one of them's gonna be the Chargers. I guarantee it's gonna be the Chargers because Spanos is just absolutely broke. He plays in a soccer stadium. He has no marketability anymore. The
Perfect
strange
time for
thing
them to go
is-
to London. Perfect
Yeah,
time for a new
and
owner
he's
to
the
value.
only
Not the
owner in
perfect
league
time to
that
go to
has
London.
the
Let me
There's
just say
never,
this. Don't
there's
travel.
never a good
fly.
time. There's
Don't
never a
go
good time to go to London.
Don't fly. Just stay
Go ahead,
home.
go ahead, back Stafford. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Spanos is the only owner in almost every single major sport that has the team as his only business. He makes all of his money based on the Chargers alone. That's why he took that terrible deal to go with the Rams' new stadium, where all the concessions and jersey sales go to the Rams owner because he can't afford to build his own stadium and he can't keep playing in a soccer stadium.
I think it's more likely that you'll see this in the NHL than the other sports. I think in baseball, because this made me talk about baseball. Baseball has got money. They'll bail it out. They'll make sure that it stays. I mean, but you got to think about fan attendance. I mean, this COVID thing eventually is going to it's going to end eventually. When we get everyone back together and going out in society, it's going to spread again. Like, it's going to happen. There's going to be another wave of it. People need to understand that. It's going to hurt these teams financially that they're going to be out for a year. I think more so, I talked to GRD about it and we said it's going to be more NHL. How about the minor leagues? How about those minor league teams that are owned by some of these companies that probably don't have as much money coming in? How is this going to hurt the development of players coming up to major league?
Pennsylvania one's shutting down. They play at the baseball stadium here. State College Spikes, they're shutting down. It looks like they have a lot of Save the Spikes campaigns, but that was going on before Corona.
Oh, there you go. So
it would impact me because I applied for a Paw Sox internship. Still haven't heard back. I probably won't because everyone's supposed to stay inside and baseball's canceled. So I'm out here searching for internships. So if you let me just plug some stuff. You want to hit me up on LinkedIn or anything? Boy, looking for something. But any final thoughts before we wrap this up? Caiden, we'll start with you.
No, I got nothing, but I just really appreciated my time.
Yeah, you have to say one.
I really appreciated my time here. Thanks for having me on, guys. I had a great time. So
I want to applaud Caiden's candor and his ability to stand in here with the boys. Like, he took some heat, especially from me today. And it's not easy to be on this. I don't think people realize how hard it is to be in a podcast with me, Babz, Tyler, and Brandon at the same time. So good job with Caiden, and don't take my takes anymore.
Stealing takes. Brandon, go ahead.
This episode was brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. Tired of quarantine takeout? Drive in.
Mark Wahlberg is still a fake fraud, whatever you want to call him, Boston sports fan. Don't believe in him. Like his movies, though. I love the other guys. I gotta make you fly like a peacock. Let me fly.
Any movie that involves a Yankee getting shot, I'm cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both Ted's phenomenal films.
Yeah, absolutely. But Mark Wahlberg, you're not a Boston sports fan. You're not sports. Leave sports to the real ones. Leave sports to other people. Spike Lee's a real sports fan. He goes to all those Knicks games, even when they're terrible.
Well, not anymore because he got kicked out, didn't he?
I think he did. Yeah.
Honestly,
James Dolan got the Rona, and if that's the way the Knicks move on to organization, then
I was about to say that's my hot take. That's my hot take of the day. James Dolan getting Corona is actually better for the organization.
All right, my final thought is in the most heavily anticipated 1v1 match of the past few weeks, Marcus Smart has beat coronavirus in a wash. Simple as that. Caiden keeps coming in and out.
Yeah, just disconnected me. I don't know what happened.
Real shame. All right, Marcus Smart beat Corona. Simple as that. Marcus Smart won. Corona not 0. Corona several thousand, but hey, we're chipping away.
Can I just talk about real quick, because now this is overtime now. Just real quick, we like to do about talk a little bit about the COVID situation, coronavirus, and get kind of serious here. Again, Brendan, give us your updates out there in Arizona.
Oh, I got nothing. Still same thing. Things are closing down. You can only drive in, take out food. I've got 2 weeks left in my lease here basically until I gotta go find a new place. So I'm starting to looking around, get a security deposit down in a new spot, land a full-time gig, or do something like Kev's doing, just do Uber Eats until I find a full-time job.
As well.
Brendan. Tyler, Pennsylvania. What's life in Amish country?
It's looking like I'm stuck here for a while because every state I have to drive through is under lockdown. So unless I finesse the system and give like the cops stuff to fall asleep or something while I'm driving through, That's the only way I'm going to make it home. So it's looking like I'm staying here till April 30th.
We'll send the Ride the Wave helicopter to pick you up.
Joe
it's not the
Stafford.
budget.
Joe Stafford, St. A's is no more right now. What's going on with you?
St. A's is officially shut down for the rest of the semester. We got an email today saying we're only getting back 25% of our room and board fee, which is absolute nonsense. I will be taking them to court if they don't change that. So keep up to date with Ride the Wave's lawsuit coming in hot. I'm hiring Babz as my personal attorney.
Oh boy, I'd be yelling in the courtroom. I have a couple connections over there. If we can get it down to Boston, but Caiden, what's going on with you in school, dude? Like, what's up with that?
We're out till May 4th. I got all my classes online. The scary thing for me is my mom's a nurse, and there's several COVID patients at her hospital. So it's kind of like go in there. Because my parents are divorced, so sometimes she doesn't want us there. She's coming off of work because she's all nervous. So that kind of sucks. But just hanging in here. I'm from Western Mass, so like there's not much to do.
You guys are immune to everything.
Oh yeah, there's nothing to do. There's literally woods around me, so I'm kind of just chilling, hunkering down here. So
on my end at the hospital front, it's again doctors and nurses are just like waiting. It's been a waiting game to see everyone come in. It's been an uptick in patients, even in terms of employees as well too. And today was our first day. What's today? I don't even know what day. Every day mingles into each other. I believe it's Monday today, correct? Yeah. So Monday morning, we started this new thing called the COVID Pass. You have to do self-diagnosis when you come into the hospital if you're an employee. The system worked until 7:45 in the morning, and they absolutely crashed.
Awesome.
So Wi-Fi went down. So that was a hot mess. Glad I wasn't there today. It was my day off, my night off. Well, it wouldn't even matter because I get out at 7 in the morning. But I will say that I thought what was very interesting by Donald Trump and was talking about he extended the social distancing to April 30th. And I think that people need to, and this was a headline, then CBS News, and I think that people need to hear this, is that he said we want to extend social distancing to April 30th because we want to keep the death total under 100,000. 100,000. We haven't even hit 10K yet in deaths, and this guy wants to keep it under 100,000. Pretty much saying that 50,000 people in the month of April at least are going to pass away.
They're going to keep pushing it back. They're going to make it
and
two more weeks, and then 2 more weeks, and then the next thing you know, it's 2063, and then the NFL is back, and Tom Brady Jr. is playing.
Yeah, I just think that again, it hasn't really hit a lot of people yet. I've been reading that Midwest America is going to hit them hard because they don't have the resources we do in the urban areas that we live in. I mean,
just eating corn until they die.
Arizona, you got Phoenix, you got that big Phoenix, you got Phoenix, you got Pennsylvania, you got both Pittsburgh and Philly. Over for us in Massachusetts, Boston. But a lot of this Midwestern, they don't have the resources that we have on some of these major cities. And even in these major cities, what I've been getting pissed off about is I work at the hospital and we're running into our emergency supply system right now. And Donald Trump, again, I don't want to get too political on things, but he's dragging his feet for these states and governors that he does not agree with. He is not an Elizabeth Warren fan, and he's not giving Massachusetts what they need. We are one of the top 3 hospitals in the United States and one of the top hospitals in the world, and you're not providing us with federal aid, and that really pisses me off and is showing the true color of this country right now. I don't like that.
Shout out Stephon Marbury. He's getting $10 million worth of masks for New York City.
From China.
Yeah, Starbury.
Is he still getting paid off of some sort of contract still?
China, yeah. He's
China's
crazy. Version of LeBron.
Yeah.
him and Jimmer Fredette and Klay Thompson.
Did you ever own his shoes growing up, his sneakers? The Marberries?
No.
What were they? Starberries? All right. That's my take. That's it. I'm done with it. That's my COVID-19.
All right, Boss's Big 3, episode 47. Maybe 48, unless Corona gets us all.
Gets one of us.
Yeah, all right, death pool. Who dies first between the Boston's Big 3 crew? Yep,
100%.
I mean, I worked there. I already said I think I had
I survived it. I thought I might have had it.
I think I was convinced she had it because she was like sneezing one day. I'm like, just because you sneeze doesn't mean you have Corona.
I almost want to be the first one. I just want to go in my profile and just be like COVID-19 survivor, but that would just be I don't want to touch that
Too
subject
soon.
yet. Too soon. Very too soon.
Yeah.
Remember when I came on here with and I just said, like, we're bunkering down and this is what we're doing. Babz was on the podcast weeks ago and I told you that we have to fight against this. And everyone laughed at me because I obviously was wearing an American jacket and I had my helmet on. But I told you, this is how bad it's going to get. I've been preaching this nonstop. Take my advice seriously. I'm telling you, it's interesting to go to work and see this happening. We are living through history right now. And 100 years, 200 years, they're going to look back on this moment. Right? And we joke around about it now, but this is some serious shit's about to happen.
Babz is like Walmart Uncle Sam right now.
Yeah.
Please, God, just listen to us. We need you. Yeah, it's like my
We need you to
grandpa
line
during.
up.
It's like my grandpa saving the world in 1920. He's like fighting and like has that helmet
I
on. Me,
have my
me
helmet
saving
ready.
the
I'm
world
really-
100 years later in 2020. Just me sitting playing GTA.
Yeah,
Just
family.
all right, this is the episode. I'm clicking stop recording so we can finally stop.